From the possibility of an impending technological revolution that will transform the internet to the fear-mongering warnings of the unforeseen dangers that it may bring, talks about 5G is taking over the front lines of the newspapers nowadays. Not to mention the 5G race that has consistently driven up political tensions between countries. Have you ever wondered what exactly 5G is? What is so special about it, and what makes people so excited yet scared of it at the same time? 5G is expected to be a massive improvement and advancement. It is estimated that it will be able to handle 1,000 times more traffic than today's network and runs at 10 times faster speed than the current 4G. For example, to download a 2-hour movie using 3G, it will take you 26 hours. With 4G, the time is reduced to 6 minutes. And with 5G, you guessed, it may only take 3.5 seconds. With the emergence of the Internet of Things, self-driving cars, smartwatches, AI-controlled houses, VR, and countless other technologies, the current 4G frequency bands are becoming increasingly congested, as expressed in talk of 4G slowing down. However, 5G operates at a higher frequency, from 6 GHz to 300 GHz, which is different from the lower 3 to 6 GHz of its precursors. It opens up a new frequency spectrum, allowing increased bandwidth and capacity ideal for the huge number of mobile devices in densely populated cities. But 5G promises more than just speed. 5G packets can be divided into uniquely purposed slices. By creating separate wireless networks on the cloud, it allows users to create their own bespoke networks. For example, a gamer can request a personalized network with greater internet speed and capacity simply by paying a bit more money to the 5G provider. With all that being said, if 5G is so great, why aren't we using it now? There are a number of hurdles and challenges surrounding the development and implementation of 5G technology. Firstly, as mentioned earlier, 5G operates on a higher frequency radio waves, which contributes to its many desirable features. But the pitfall of this is that the higher the frequency, the shorter the wavelength. This means that the signal from the 5G nodes only travels within a short distance, and even worse, the signal can be easily blocked by obstacles like buildings, trees, or even the rain. Well, dropping your internet connection whenever the rain comes doesn't sound pleasant. There is, however, a solution. Instead of using large high-power towers to broadcast signal, 5G providers are going to install thousands of low-power mini-space stations around streets and neighborhoods to provide complete 5G coverage. However, the idea of installing small power stations right outside of one's windows has led to concerns that the radiation from the higher frequency waves may be harmful to the human body, even though there is no scientific evidence supporting this speculation yet. Another challenge lying ahead is the huge expenditure expected to set up a global 5G network. To supplant the existing 4G network, new infrastructure for 5G from towers to antennae have to be installed, which can cost billions of dollars. We haven't reached the end of the list yet. One last major concern amongst the public is the threat to cybersecurity with the 5G network. Even before the introduction of 5G networks, hackers have managed to breach down the control center of a municipal dam system, stop an internet-connected car as it traveled down an interstate, and sabotage home appliances. Since more devices including vehicles, industrial machines, or even armaments are now added to the 5G network, it can result in catastrophic consequences if hackers reach into the network and take over these devices. Other security concerns come from the theft of personal information by 5G service providers. For instance, Huawei, the Chinese electronics tycoon and the global leader in 5G technology, has been accused of being an asset for Chinese intelligence earlier this year, leading to the company being banned from installing 5G networks in several countries. Although it can be argued that the ban was only because countries such as the United States were worried about the pace of 5G development in China, threatening to surpass their own technologies, such concerns are real and pose another substantial obstacle for 5G proliferation. We should be aware of the pros and cons of 5G and the revolutionizing changes it brings along to our daily lives. Researchers around the world are still setting up trials and refining the existing technology. But whether you like it or not, 5G is coming. So be prepared.